Hey everyone, it's Jax again from the Popcorn Review Podcast. Today's with my episode 37 recap for AEW for 625. So this one actually started off pretty fast, if anything. You did have Timeless Tony Storm come out wearing her Carmen Sandiego kind of like private eye getup, and out of nowhere, the CEO attacks Tony Storm. And the way it starts off, she goes pretty much, "Welcome to Dynamite, bitch." They go at it for a while. Um, you do have the CEO pretty much just put her in a submission, just beat her up for a while. You did have Mina's music hits. Mina comes back and kind of like interrupts. And from there, there's a match announced that next week you're going to have Mina versus CEO. So they are going to have a bunch of matches next week for Dynamite 300. So, guys, I can't wait to see it. That's going to be a good match. Yeah, it's just going to be in between before the All In pay per view. But I'm really excited. But right after that, boom, the Young Bucks get on the Titantron or whatever, and they pretty much say, hey, they call out Will and Swerve like, hey guys, you guys are going to be on the second hour of this show. But they look at each other. But since we have the power, your match is right now. So they did have like they played Will Ospreay's song, and for a while he didn't come out. Almost the whole damn song played, and out of nowhere you see him come out trying to wrap up and tape up his arm. His boots weren't on all the way. His kick pads weren't on, so they kind of were forced to come out. And he's putting it on as he's like celebrating in the ring and cheering to everybody when they're doing his Ospreay kind of like gimmick or chant. You did have Swerve come out though, cool, calm, and collected. Didn't have his jacket on, but still fully clothed, fully geared up to go. Um, but before that, you did have like, Blake Christian, I think Lee Johnson were already waiting for him in the ring. So apparently they knew what the Young Bucks were going to do. This was actually a good match with the four. But Will Ospreay and Swerve could possibly be a tag team contender to go against the Hurt Syndicate. So let's see if that plays out. Honestly, they could do their thing together. Those two guys are doing some amazing shit, yo. Like it's crazy. But in that match, Blake Christian was actually doing his thing. Lee Johnson didn't see a lot from him personally. So if, other people may have, thinking differently. But, you know, um, you did have Blake Christian doing some crazy shit too, like hitting some spots that you're like, damn, he could do that because he looks so quiet and so calm that when he does things like that, you just don't expect it from him. Um, there's a sequence there that Swerve kind of like did like a flip off the ground, but as he went to the ground, you had Ospreay come with the hidden blade. So together, like those two guys are a phenomenal tag team. Don't know if they're gonna be going after the tag team titles. Would be nice to see, honestly. Um, kind of put them in a different picture since you are gonna have Hangman go for the title. But in all, you did have the Young Bucks kind of go in there and interrupt the match, sat outside in their thing, but it did kind of like draw the attention from Swerve and Will. So Blake Christian did get the, I guess, upper hand on them during that match. But it was actually a really good match. You did have again Will and Swerve win the match, and after the match, they kind of had like security. They were going to go after the Bucks. You had security there, and Will gets on the mic. He goes, "You know what? We're going to do this. The two of us versus the two of you guys, and we're going to do it at All In." But you're gonna put your EVP titles on the line. So they didn't go into much detail. If it just means they're gonna strip the title from them, that they're no longer gonna have creative control for the show, or if it's gonna be passed to Will and Swerve, because that can be headstrong too for those two guys, especially Swerve if he doesn't get his title shot. But it's gonna be a nice match at All In. The four of those guys, a hell of a match. All In's card it was already good. Imagine how much better it's going to be with these four fucking guys in a tag team match. So the Young Bucks versus Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland for the EVP titles, or stripping the EVP title off of them. So let's see how that plays out, guys. Um, but in all, again, EVP titles on the line. You guys let me know how that's going to play out. Honestly, I'm kind of at a loss for words. Don't know how it's going to go. Um, you did have Okada, which is a weird segment. Okada kind of introduced his new family, the Don Callis family, to the Young Bucks. And I heard that apparently he's no longer listed as the elite. He's actually listed under the Don Callis family. But you did have kind of introduced him. It was kind of an awkward exchange, if anything, at least in my opinion. Um, but you did have these guys kind of staring off at each other. So you had Okada looking at um the Don Callis family. They're kind of like, no, this is just a one off. So just remember this is just a one off. So that he's not wanted by everybody in that group. So we'll see how that plays out. Honestly, you did have Kota Ibushi. Hopefully, I said that right. Versus Trent. This is a good match too. Don't know much about Kota there. Didn't see him in New Japan, honestly, but I have seen him come here and there through the Forbidden Door pay per view, and he has showed up before. But from what I've seen, he seems like a young guy. At least he looks young. But he was doing some good. This match was great. Him and Trent had some great chemistry, hard hitting back and forth. Um, just an impossible or a great match, honestly. There, you did have, you know, I forgot his name, but his partner from Pierogi Vice or something like that was out there, helped him out, got involved, kind of slowed the match down. But Kota did pull that one off. Trent is part of the Don Cal family as well. We haven't seen him for a few months, but he has been back for a while. And it was almost like he got put on a mission to take Kota out. Kota does win this. And then you have Okada and Kota like face to face in the middle of the ring. So I thought Kenny Omega was going to win the title. But with Kota, I'm sorry, with Kota being introduced and them kind of going at it, now I'm thinking that you're going to have Okada win the new United title and feud with Kota in the future. I love Kenny Omega, but I think they're gonna go that route personally. Let me know what you guys think. I think they're gonna have Okada beat Kenny, and then Okada's gonna face Kota down the road for the new unified title. So let me know what you guys think, guys. But it was announced that you're gonna have Okada versus Kota next week. I think that's just going to build on their rivalry. And again, I think Okada's going to win the match, and you're going to have Okada versus Kota for the title down the road. Let's see how it plays out, guys. Um, did have a Moxley segment. Honestly, guys, like I've said it before, he goes on these crazy ass rants. I have no idea what the fuck Moxley be talking about half the time, so I just ignored the segment personally. I'm just waiting for Hangman to beat him. At this point, I'm just waiting for Hangman to take the title from him and call it a fucking day. But you did have AR Fox was kind of like in a interview there with Renee, and Ricochet kind of comes in and he goes, "Hey man, I've been looking for a partner or a crew, so I like the way you work, and how about you and I go against Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight?" And then you had AR Fox kind of put his hand out. All right, man, that's what I'm talking about, man. Man puts his hand out. That's a done deal. And AR is like, "What the fuck just happened?" Well, because of that little interaction, you did have Ricochet and AR Fox versus Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey. I love to see Kevin Knight wrestle, so I was okay with this match, honestly. But it has been like Ricochet's kind of ducking Kevin Knight, if you guys have been noticing that. So he wanted nothing to do with Kevin Knight during the whole match. And I think I've mentioned in the previous episode as well that AR Fox reminds me a lot of Ricochet back in WWE. So it's kind of funny how they kind of put these two guys together. Um, but for a while they were doing real good. AR Fox and Ricochet were doing really well. Ricochet was still like, "Man, you got it. Go ahead, beat him." But didn't want to partake in the match at all. So AR Fox wrestled half that match by himself because Ricochet didn't want to do shit. Then Ricochet got upset when AR Fox didn't pin him. He was getting upset when AR Fox was doing well. Like, yeah, I told him to do that. Like taking credit for it. So finally they were in the ring. They were gonna do like a tag team combo, and they weren't getting together, and they started arguing with each other. And long story short, Ricochet turns his back on AR Fox, you know, Jet Speed, those guys end up winning. And Ricochet just like, I don't give a shit. So even though I thought he was gonna have AR Fox join him, that's not the case. He just used AR Fox as a pawn, which kind of sucks because I feel like AR Fox needs some more screen time. He's been in wrestling for a while, from what it sounds like, and he's an incredible wrestler from what I've seen. The back flips, the front flips. His move set is insane. Yes, a lot of the guys in AEW could do it, but AR Fox deserves a shot. Even if it's on Ring of Honor side, he should be a television title, pure champion, something to that effect. Like, get this man some gold and let him shine. Like AR Fox could wrestle his ass off again, at least in my opinion. But and Kevin Knight's move, I didn't know what it was called. I thought it was a frog splash. They're calling it the UFO splash. Crazy ass move. But you do have what's it called? The Hurt Syndicate kind of comes out and they kind of spoil the surprise or spoil the celebration of Jet Speed, and they beat him down. They actually have Bobby Lashley kind of choke slam one through the other table, and they go into the ring and they pretty much start putting everybody on blast. Like, hey, who's there for us to beat? If there's nobody left, then fine, we'll wrestle Jet Speed, whatever the case is. And then you got MJF says, hey, yeah, just want to let y'all know that I am gonna be entering myself into the casino battle royal at All In to try to get my triple B, baby. And we all knew MJF was gonna do that. But the crowd was hating MJF, honestly. Like, for a while, the Hurt Syndicate was getting a lot of love from the crowd. But with MJF there, they're definitely getting a lot of heat that they weren't getting before. So MJF is actually giving them the rub. And it's just funny, to be honest with you, that people hate MJF that much that they're willing to go with the other bad guys over him. Can't stand that dude. But you did have a segment with Mark Briscoe came out to kind of rush them off. He was like, yo, man, TK told me to get you out of here, man. You're taking up too much TV time. And they start going at it. He started calling him toothless. MJF calls him toothless. He calls him a hillbilly country guy, whatever, talking shit. And then Mark Briscoe kind of takes like a different page. He goes, almost like a therapist, like, I understand why you acting like that. You've been through a lot. People used to tell you, call you Jew boy and all this stuff. And MJF has said it himself that he used to call him Jew boy. So hopefully nobody gets upset for me saying that. Um, and he was like, but I understand when you have a small kosher pickle hanging out with these big guys, makes you feel better for yourself. And they went at it funny as shit. All you kept hearing the crowd was saying kosher pickle the whole time. So that was funny as hell. Um, don't know if they're gonna have a match down the road, or they might wrestle in the Casino Battle Royal themselves and kind of like end the beef there, or they might continue the beef later on. But we'll go from there. Mark Briscoe did have a match right after that. It was Mark Briscoe, Bandito. You had Roderick Strong and Takeshita. Um, Honestly, when this match started, I thought it was going to be Takeshita or Bandito to win this match. It was actually a good match. They were all going back and forth. They all had looked like it had an opportunity to win the match. False finishes, everybody hitting their finisher, fast, strong. Everybody doing their thing. And again, I thought Takeshita or Bandito were going to win this match. Mark Briscoe pulls that shit off and wins it. So Mark Briscoe is the first entry in the Casino Battle Royal. Don't know how lucky that is. Usually the first entry person almost never wins battle royal, so we'll see how it plays. Um, but I will say apparently MJF wanted the segment with Mark Briscoe, like he pushed for it. So hopefully MJF's not leaving anytime soon. He brings a lot of draws and a lot of eyes to AEW. But apparently MJF requested that there. Um, After that, you did have like a segment or a little segment real fast with Adam Cole, pretty much giving an open challenge to anybody from the Don Callis family. I thought it was gonna be Kyle Fletcher again, or Takeshita, shit, somebody, you know, um, one of the big guys, Archer, somebody. But it ended up giving to Sean Alexander. I don't see Sean Alexander winning. So they're gonna wrestle tonight, actually Thursday, on the Collision because they moved Collision to Thursday this week. But I don't really see anything coming out of this match. Adam Cole hasn't done shit with the TNT title. Yes, he has his rivalry with the Don Callis family, but again, I don't see nothing really going on there. Um, you did have another match there, another casino battle royal for the first entry for the women, though. You had Chris Statlander, you had Athena, which was nice to see her wrestle, man. She could wrestle her ass off with Willow, which I was surprised versus Thunder Rosa. Now, I will say I thought Thunder Rosa should have been part of the Arena Mexico, Grand Slam, but apparently they at least they didn't show her on TV. They might have been for the other show that they had in Mexico, but she wasn't on TV. Apparently she actually going to show up for a different show in Mexico. Global Wars or something to that effect, with Ring of Honor. But I'm surprised that she wasn't there. You know, she's very outspoken. How she's Mexican. She's always dressing up in something Mexican. Paints her face like the Sugar Skulls. I'm just surprised she wasn't in that show. But again, the match with Chris Statlander here for the first. Athena was going crazy on these girls for a while. She's the smaller one. Oh, well, her and Thunder Rosa are the smaller ones, but they were going back and forth crazy. Um, Willow again. Willow and Statlander started going at it, kind of reliving their rivalry again. Um, every time Willow hits that cannonball, though, it looks like she's taking somebody's head off. Same thing with Brody King. Y'all big motherfuckers, like y'all be killing people with that. Like, there's no way that doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can try to clench yourself to for impact, and they can try to like slowly hit themselves on you. But come on, that's a 200-pound dude or 300-pound dude, and the girl's probably like 150. Like, come on, it's gonna hurt. But to be honest with you, I thought in this match here, I thought it was gonna be Athena or Thunder Rosa. I'm sorry, Athena or Willow were gonna win this match. Thunder Rosa would have been a close third. I didn't see Chris Statlander winning this, honestly. Just because she's got a lot of beef with Willow, if they're going to continue to play their story later on. But you had right a little while you had Willow kind of going on a tear. She started beating everybody, and you had Yuta and Marina Shafir come in and kind of interfere. So they cost Willow the match. Chris Statlander won, and she was kind of like in shock, like what the hell's going on. So I don't know if she's gonna team up with these guys. I did mention that they're going to be doing AEW Women's Championship. Her and Marina Shafir, like I said, could be women's AEW Tag Team Champions. Perfect sense. She can go against Willow, has a new partner, has a new family with the Death Riders. So now I'm kind of scared, to be honest with you. If they help her win this match, does she have to now repay Moxley and help Moxley win his title? That makes you think. Now, is she going to help Moxley retain his title? Hopefully not. I do want to see Hangman win this shit because I'm tired of Moxley, but it throws a whole nother scenario in there. Like, does she have to repay Moxley and the Death Riders back for helping her be the number one entry for the Casino Battle Royal? Because technically, if she's first, somebody second, she beats that person, it's over. She wins. So technically, it's an advantage, but that's if you pin the person before the next person comes in. So let's see how it plays out, guys. That's kind of a nice little story there, to be honest with you. Did she join the Death Riders, or does she owe a favor to the Death Riders? You guys let me know. Um, Last match was Hangman versus the Beast Mortos. There is a rumor that he's dating Mercedes Monet. I did say that they're pushing Mortos a lot, and it looks like the Young Bucks like Mortos. They're using him like a hired gun, kind of like how they did with Gabe Kidd. So they're using him as a hired gun, but Mortos is a fucking beast. And that's no pun intended. Like, this dude could fucking wrestle for his size. He's a lot bigger than most luchadors, so he's probably outweighs him by like 50 pounds. I would say at least 50 pounds. But it was a good match, man. You had Hangman doing his thing, Mortos doing his thing. Long story short, though, Hangman did pull the win off, successful. Um, to be honest with you, out of nowhere, the lights turned off. So I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then he's on his knees, and the Young Bucks give him the EVP trigger, and then the Death Riders come out. So I know the Young Bucks were mad at him. I thought they were going to possibly cost him the match, but it looks like they pretty much let him know, like, yo, you're really on your own now. Like, we're not helping you no more. Death Riders come out. Moxley starts choking out Hangman with the fucking chain. And it was just insane to me that this is how it played out, honestly. A little while, you had the Ops come in and kind of save the day. And it was like the Ops and Hangman. Swerve and actually think Will got ejected from the night because of what happened earlier in the day. Swerve actually hit one of the referees when he was going after the Bucks and got in trouble for it. So they're not there. But I keep going back to Chris Statlander. Is she going to play a part now in helping Moxley retain his fucking title? Like, that's the first thing that popped in my head, is she got to repay a favor back to Moxley because he helped her win the number one spot in the Women's Casino Battle Royal. Like, I'm tired of saying Moxley, but fuck, that would throw a lot of monkey wrench in people's ideas. Um, Great. episode of Dynamite there, moving all over the place, high flying, fast paced. It was just going, just going. Um, can't wait for All In, man. Actually, can't wait for next week for episode 300 of Dynamite. It's been a few years with now with AEW, so I'm happy to see them still around, still building. I cannot wait for All In, guys. I know I keep saying it every week. All In's getting stacked, stacked, stacked. Can't wait to see it, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great one.